100-year anniversary of 1865 to 1965. They released it in 1965 as a gift of the whole freeing of the slaves and black people. Same year Malcolm died. In that bitch, they waited to take him out as a ritual 100 years after the fucking Civil War. He died in 1965. It's not by accident. See what I'm saying? They took him out in the same time. And if you what did they kill him? What day he died? Huh? What? Was it February? Well, first of all, that's Black History Month, which is also the birthday of Abraham Lincoln and a couple other things. Then you got to go back and study what was going on at that particular time right before they signed the damn Emancipation Proclamation. You'll understand an elaborate ritual what was going on to somehow keep this space-time continuum going. See what I'm saying? They do everything based on a ritual. Did they release Star Wars this time on his birthday? It was supposed to be coming out 2 or 3 weeks. It's supposed to came out the same time the Matrix came out. But they released it on his birthday. See what I'm saying? So, they're going to celebrate 30 years. Thanks, sir. I'm going to get this right. Bear with me. I want to get this right. Y'all all right? Okay. In so many words, what they're going to do is, I think that they're going to celebrate 35 years. There will be 35 years anniversary of the release of the book Doom that is talking about Spike's melange. And this particular person taking the melange and becoming the Mahdi, the Messiah, but he also had to take the water of life with him. And as a result, they're going to celebrate 35 years in November by releasing Doom, the House of Atreides, which is the first 3 trilogies before you get Doom with Paul Atreides. So the first 3 trilogies, they released the first 3 episodes of Star Wars, and now they're getting ready to release the book, the first of the first 3 trilogies before you get to Paul Atreides, which basically is your book Doom. And just so happened that Frank Herbert had these particular pieces in his front, and his son Brian Herbert is coming out with the book in November or October. But this summer, they speed up the process because the book ain't even printed yet. They won't be able to print them all until October, but they're going to fly this white boy in, and they're going to have the book signed, and they're going to go through the conference and the ceremony in July. See what I'm saying? All this stuff coincides. Gotta know what time it is. All this stuff coincides. Moving right along. But we got a lot of trouble. What time is it? 10:20. Okay. Cool. Alright, we on schedule. Alright. You want to go get the book? You want to go get the movie Photographing Fairies. Photograph and fairies. And in that movie, you're going to see these little lights. The movie goes to this particular person. It's in the early 1900s. His wife died right after they owned their honeymoon or something like that. And he wants to kill himself. But he's a great photographer. And in so many words, he goes to World War II. He takes all these shots. World War I. Takes all these shots in battle. And he never seems to kill himself. So he's mad at the world because his fiancée died. And as a result, he goes to the Theosophical Society because he wants to prove that all spiritual things are a fraud. So after a result, what happens is after he goes to the Theosophical Society, he sees this picture, and they say it's supposed to be a real girl with fairies around. He proves that it's all fake. About a couple of days later, this woman comes in and shows him a real picture of this girl that has these fairies. And he's trying to prove it's fake, but when he does the development, he sees the fairies in the girl's eye reflection. So he immediately runs down to the countryside to check this thing out. When he gets down there, the woman that came to his office was at the top of the tree, and she fell out the tree and died. But when she fell out the tree and died, he noticed she had these white flowers in her hand. little white flowers. So at night he's in the bar, he takes one of the flowers and drinks it with the beer, and the whole world slows down. And he can see shit, he can see the beer fall off the table in slow motion. He runs out to the tree. So it also represents an hallucinogenic, which is also what does what melanin does, supposed to. He runs out to the tree where the woman died, and you see all these fairies jumping around. And the second time he finds the flowers and stuff, and it takes him a while to find the flowers, the little girl won't tell him where the flowers are. Second time he finds the flower, he takes one, this fairy comes up out of him. And this is a relationship with what I'm getting ready to get into based on this extraterrestrial shit, so I can explain this thing to you in a few minutes. So in so many words, this person gets killed and they blame him, and he doesn't even defend himself. When he gets on the stage, they say, "You have anything to say?" He said, "Look, death is only a stage. Life is death is only a stage." He said, "Shit, since I know that there's another world, I'm sitting hanging around this bullshit." Anyway, so many words, he gets killed and he rejoins his wife immediately after. But it was showing you these little light particles that's jumping all around, and that's the point I want you to see. That's the same as UFOs. Now, which leads up to the other particular part, which I want to get into before I get into that, is this particular part here. You want to go by a book? Y'all all right? That's interesting. All right. Okay. You all want to go by a book? Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this is just a rough draft copy. When you get the book, it's a beautiful. When you get the book, it's a beautiful cover on it. Costs about $22. It's called "Ka: The Stories of the Minds of the Gods of India" by Roberto Colasso, K-A-L-A-S-S-O. Roberto Colasso. And this is the book that you want to get, called "Ka." Now, in ancient India, y'all get some water, like get some hydration. Hold on 1 minute. In ancient India, the substance that is called melanin is called Soma. S-O-M-A, S-A-M-A, I think. Let me get the right one. It's S-A-M-A or S-O-M-A. Let me find it. So bear with me. It's called Soma. I want to show you this. Bear with me 1 minute. Let's look at the content. S-O-M-A, S-O-M-A, Soma. Now, this is the text and what it's talking about. This is melanin. It says, King Soma, they called him. He was a king and a substance. Whatever deed he did, little has come down to us. But he was the object of other deeds. Abducted, ambushed, retaken, and sold. Well, there you have it. Abducted, ambushed, retaken, and sold. Well, that's your ass, ain't it? Then, pressed, filtered, and slain. These are things that one hears tell a song. Well, first of all, they said that it was pressed and filtered. That's talking about the milling process where they church your ass out and made you something new in slavery. Rather than a king, Soma is what makes someone a king. Oh, Jesus, the newborn king, king of earth, king, this shit here, that's your monkey ass. It's got Soma, king melon. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? He is sovereignty itself. You are sovereign because you are king, because you have the substance called Soma, which is in Samaria or in Babylonia is called Kingu. And Kingu is a substance that after Tiamat and her maid Kingu was killed, they used Kingu to make humans out. That's called titanium dust. You were made of dust, or from dust. That's what melanin is, and that's It goes on and says that Solomon needs two sisters, and maybe these two sisters more than anything he needs is water. That's what makes Solomon activate. Water. See what I'm saying? That's Solomon. Now, let me get into some stuff right here. Hold on a minute. Get into some things right here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get into another mythology coming from the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda. And this particular mythology is very old, coming from Sanskrit. The Rig Veda. Let's see what the Rig Veda, you can get one translated by. Bear with me. Get you a Rig Veda. It's translated by Wendy Doniger, D-O-N, Doniger, actually. D-O-N-G-E-R. Doniger? A Doniger, I don't know. That's a Doniger? I see nigger in there. A Doniger. O'Flaherty. So that's O-F-O apostrophe F L-A-H-A-H-T. I gotta slow down and read this thing. F-O-L-H-E-R-T-Y. O apostrophe O F-L-A-H-E-R-T-Y. And that's her name. Wendy Doniger O'Flaherty, or whatever that is. Don't ask me. But anyway, she's the translator of this particular version of the Rig Veda. Now, the story I'm going to tell you is the story of the mysteries of Rudra. Now, we're going to go to that, go to something else, and then you want to hear the question and answer. Yeah. Now, this is just another story to me. See, what I did was this. What I did is basically how you find out. You say, well, I want to know, we got all these mythologies, we got all these different stories, I want to know which one is the truth. Well, basically, what you do is, because you have, I'm sorry, but you don't have just one culture in the ancient world. You have many cultures. So basically, what you do is, you read as many of the actual mythology you can. So you need to go get this book, two mythology books. One is called The World of Myth by David Adams Levy, L-E-E-M-I-N-G. David Adams Levy, or L-E-A-M-I-N-G. Levy. I don't have a book with it, so I have to guess. David Adams Levy. One is called The World of Myth. The other one is called Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero. If you get those two books, you pretty much get basically a lot of the world's mythology. There's another book you can get also called Parallel Mythology. But since we deal with ancient texts, you try to get as many as you can. So, in those two books, you get a lot of mythology. Now, what you find out is this. This is how you find out the truth. In so many words, if you study the mythologies from around the world, what you will find out is, although they might be different customs, different languages, different cultures, if the theme somewhat coincides as the same, they might have different ways they explain, but if they basically giving you the same theme, you know that to be the truth. Now, based on all ancient cultures, I find it in Gnosticism, I find it in Hinduism, I find it in the Greek, I find it in the Coptic text of ancient Egypt, Gnosticism, which would be later Coptic Egypt. I find it in the Babylonian Genesis. I find it in the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Rig Veda, the Upanishad, that's all the Indian texts. I find all this shit in what coincides before the creation of religion around 2,000 years ago. One thing is clear. Because what we try to do is we want to find out how the ancients thought. And one thing is clear. In every last one of these texts, this is how I know it to be true. The creation of the physical world is not the true damn God. He is the renegade motherfucker that's got up in slavery. The goddamn warrior. Now, that's the way you got to deal with it. Because that's the way, even in the Kabbalah, I find it in every ancient text. And whenever you find something that's prevalent in all of the texts prior to religion, and the theme is the same, then you know that that is the truth. And then when you find by the time the religion comes, the primary focus is this motherfucker who created the world, is you worshiping. If you are worshiping, then you know that that's the shit you done fell to, and you ain't got no business worshiping nobody, because you are the motherfuckers that fell. That was in the beginning, the Alpha and the Omega, that they call Jesus. That's your fucking ass. The Christ. See what I'm saying? But it's one thing that's evident, you got to get that in your fucking head, that anybody that ain't of the physical body, and the other ones that died, that's a part of the physical body, they now get inside of you. We're still talking about the same unit of entities, they're your fucking enemy. So the God is your enemy. As a matter of fact, the Gnostic text says the thing that we're talking about, who we are, God didn't even call us gods. We are the foot of gods. I say chaos beings. Or whatever stuff you see what you got. Monsters, that's what we are. You see what I'm saying? In so many words. Now, so that's why in the Elric series, Elric is the emperor of melanin voting. And melanin voting, this is all in Michael Moorcock's books, the Elric Saga. And in melanin voting is this ancient dragon, they go to the word dragon, an empire that ruled the earth years ago that went into decline. And later on, the young kingdoms came up and started using it. But basically, they were more of human forms from a later day form of the human. The young kingdoms would be basically what you got now. Now, Elric here, who is the emperor, is forced. He's got an enigma here. He's forced. In order to clean up the shit, he has to go to the chaos god. And he joins forces with the chaos god so he can down destroy both melanin is in decline as well as the young kingdom. But basically that's what we're talking about. Humanity has to be destroyed if you're going to get out of this shit. That which you love and admire has to be destroyed. And it's being destroyed from inside out. Basically what's going to happen is your ass is going to implode. Because that death realm that you talk about, that's the entity that's inside of this melanin. Melanin and death is the same shit. Osiris is the god of the perfect black. He's also the lord of death. So when that particular death realm inside of you is entity, you ain't got to drink no Kool-Aid. What's going to happen is that entity going to come online inside of your motherfucking ass. And what's going to happen is your ass going to implode and it's just going to suck you up. You're just going to suck up. And you're going to be back. And bad as hell. That's what. So we are space vampires, which is, what's a vampire? Sucks blood. Space vampires is a black hole. But the black hole is out there, it's only a representative of what's on the inside of you. So if there's a black hole out there, that's a reflection, but that's a hologram reflecting outside you. And on the inside of you is also a black hole. You see? So what's going to happen is that black hole gathers up a lot of power, which I'm explaining this Ruger thing in a few minutes. What will happen is your motherfucking ass will be sucked in from the inside out and your motherfucking ass will be back. As bad as ever. You see what I'm saying? So the Dracula is the black hole, which is the ultimate Dracula particle, that will suck you up and the world up with it. So your soul, which is the real you, is coming back. And it's going to suck this son of a bitch up that started this shit up with him. And here's what's cool. He's arch-charming. He's a dog about this. Gonna kill all that shit too. And that's what you are. But you can't be worshiping nothing. And you got to start hating humanity. So if you're feeling a hate about every goddamn thing, then that's good. Hate is good. That's called the theology of hate. Let me explain it to you. In the Greek mythology, Hercules is the Christ. So basically, what you don't find when you fall short of harvest, you go and you study Hercules. And if you study the mythology of Hercules, you get a lot more than you get in Egypt on harvest. Because it was preserved better. Because Egypt had so much pillaging, so much, if something is older, it's vulnerable to more attacks than it was around home. Something that's newer, or something that's basically not the empire of that world, it can be preserved. So the Greek mythology, which is the Etruscan, which I preserve better. So go read the story of Hercules and you get a better story on the Christ thing. Or go read the story of Jason and the Argonauts. But see, Jason and the Argonauts, he got Medea with him. He got his woman. And you're going to find out that Medea is, so Jason is not the same Christ story, but here is a balance because the woman is the one that helped his ass out. So now Hercules don't do one thing when he comes on the planet. Him, Horus, or whatever, in the ancient world, the Christ don't do one thing, kill. So the ultimate reality, like I said last time, if you go look at the movie Alien, Resurrection, and all the aliens, and if you scared of that shit, remember that's just a picture of your ass, what you gonna be doing. But that's what the Christ does. That's the reason why the Hebrews rejected the notion of some motherfucker walking around talking, Jesus loves a little baby, all that bullshit and love. Christ never taught love, so the ancient Africans understood that the motherfucker was coming back as a killer. Now I'm gonna give you a story on him in a few minutes because he don't love you. Now, but anyway, the theology of hate is, how many people have gotten a fight? Raise your hand. Okay. Now, if anybody ever got in a fight, you will know. If you really got down on a good fight, you will know that after you get out the fight, this nigga standing beside watching you gotta tell you about the fight that you just got because you don't remember shit. That's because you went to a metaphysical energy, and that's another state. So if the Bible tells you to be nice, you're supposed to be doing the opposite. And being aggressive. We're not talking about emotion, we're talking about being aggressive, being a damn killer, and knowing what time it is. See what I'm saying? But we're not talking about a physical act, that would be acting in the matrix. We're talking about a state of being and a state of mind. So basically you gotta say, fuck the world. So in the Herculean myth, in order for Hercules to get past the 12 labors, when he got to go through these 12 labors, which also represents 12 aspects of consciousness, 12 zodiac figures, and 12 beasts, and 12 things, and 12 illuminations. In order to get through that, he got to get mad, literally, and kill some motherfuckers to do it. So you can't be doing that shit talking about some bullshit love that was taught to you 2,000 years ago, after political shit. That has to do with coincide with the cycle that's going. What you love it for? The concept of love don't make shit, have shit to do outside of the physical realm, which is an illusion. You see what I'm saying? That's why you fucked up by the word now and confused. When you know in your heart you don't want to hear shit. So rather than nigga on the corner, I don't want to hear shit. See what I'm saying? This is a metaphysical state that you got to get to because that's identifying with the energy that is now supposed to come on the planet to take care of shit. The theology of hate. That's the Christ energy. If you study the actual science to it. You see what I'm saying? That's the Christ energy. You see? That's what we're talking about on this particular science. Now, which leads us to Rudra. Rudra, this is coming from the Rig Veda. Now, let me give you the other thing. This is the Rig Veda. This guy named Brahma breaks through from the uncreate, and the uncreate is the wholeness. It contains everything that ever was and ever will be and the fullness. So Brahma breaks from the uncreate and comes down because he makes love to his daughter, which is also just called by the Greek mother. Just depends on the mythology. Shift the middle part. And he's, in so many words, they use different characters to give you a thought. And he creates the physical world, he creates this universe from the uncreated. Immediately after he serves the uncreated, this God named Rudra, in his later form, in his last incarnation, it's called Siva, he comes through. And Luther is going to track Brahma or Pastor Johnny Indra now, different names, Brahma, Pastor Johnny Indra. In so many words, they call him the Father, that you call Father. And he tracks this father motherfucker down. This father motherfucker is infringed on the great mother, the uncreate, and Luther tracks him down, but Luther is the star Sirius. And he tracks him down, he's getting ready to kill him, but the uncreate, his father in heaven, begs for his life. So he's a punk ass fucker. He begs for his life. So Luther looking at the situation and understanding that in actuality, in order to, for the mere fact that this person was able to break away, there had to be a glitch in the uncreated get-go. So why not fall and become a part of the creation so I can clean it up from the inside out and get rid of the negative part that caused the bullshit in the first place. So instead of Timothy, he shoots the arrow and comes down here. And he becomes literally quite clear, going through this bullshit to shift off or to burn off the negative part or to rot off the negative part through putrefaction and degeneration. And that's what we do. That's called the suffering Messiah. Go back and look at the movie Matrix. How did he have to kill the sentient programs? He had to go inside of them. Remember, he had to go inside of the agent, and when he was inside of them, he sucked it in from the inside out, and he came out. That's what we're doing. We're inside of the damn, what they call the irregular universe. You see what I'm saying? And we're cleaning it up. And that's what our whole thing for doing to being down here. And he does this. But how does he do it? Now in the book of parallel mythology, there's an apocalyptic text up in there. And they talk about how Rudra destroyed the earth. And what he does is he sucks all the water from the earth and the universe until he makes a whirlwind or a black hole. And he sucks the earth up to it. In so many words, in your body, you suck up all the energy through water until you create a whirlwind inside of you, and suck into the sea is going to do it. And you suck yourself into the particular part and the world too, but you do it through water. You see? And that's how you do it. You'll get that Buddha story either in the Rig Veda, or you can also get it in that book Parallel Mythology, which they have the Persian Apocalypse, the Jeremiah showed that the book of Revelation came from Persia. It's the oldest book in the Bible. I'll take the last and make it first, and the first and make it last. It's an alchemical text. But the Persians got it out of Egypt when Cambyses raided the temples and took the stuff back to Persia. So they got the Persian. If you read the Persian Apocalypse in the book, you will see it clearly that the book of Revelation literally came from this shit. It's in the book Parallel Mythology. I can't think of the person's name, just remember. There's only one book that's in print now. It's Parallel Mythology. And in the middle they got the Apocalypse text. But they also have the Numa Elish in there, which is the story of Talmud, the great mother, and how she was overthrown, and her partner was used to turn into human beings. You see what I'm saying? So all that in the actual science. Now, let me get to my. So now, if you want to learn some stuff about Osiris that you don't get in the myth because it's broken down, go get the myth of Dionysus. The myth of Dionysus. If I can find this guy's name. Did I put it in there? There's several ones. When you get that David Adam Levy book, you're going to have it in there. But there's a whole book on Dionysus by O-T-T-O. That's his last name. Get his book on Dionysus. You see what I'm saying? Dionysus is the missing pages of Osiris. The man is not human, but a cloak. It's a cloak. And it is a cloak. And basically what it is I'm sure that they talk about the mask in a few minutes. So you can actually deal. So let me explain this to you. What they're talking about here. What happened is this. Well, I'll read this first. A world where monsters walk the earth or walk the wind and use and prowl the caverns beneath the earth's surface, where beings not bound by limits of space and time use this planet for their playground. This is all talking about us when we used to be in the other realm before we fell into the filthiness. Where history, as we know it, proves a myth contrived to protect our sanity. So what I'm getting at right here is this. Where humans discover that in their pursuit of the unknown, they themselves are pursued by nameless harm. Now this is what I'm talking about the prehistory. You look at the movie Tales from the Crypt, Demon Night, and you listen and he tells you at the first, before man walked the earth, demons used to rule. It's in there. At first, there was a bunch of monsters of the giants that they call the Titans in so many mythologies. Is the thing that was ruling. As we fell into the physical, our monster self, we took on physical form and we forgot who we truly were. So when you see all these damn movies about the fucking enemy and these monsters, they talk about your ass. And so in so many words, human history and the mythology was put together to protect your sanity on who you really were. But if you truly look back in the past on who your soul is, called the monster of soul, and you look back into the past, you will scare yourself because you are so alienated and far from what you really were. So now, the white boy has studied the history and knows you the damn Godzilla, so he puts you in the movies and he always has to kill you in the movie. The monster never gets away. But always identifies the monster. See where I'm coming from? So a man is Dionysus, he's in several mans. Now Dionysus is Osiris, which is the Christ. But his man he is covering up who the real you are. But he comes from the world to be rich, of the underworld. He is a man God who strives men mad. Why do you drive you mad? Because when you look into your true self, the Dionysian self, or the Dionysus Osirian self, you see who you really are, you're scared of, because you're used to being human. You see? You're used to being human. You see? His element is moisture. Now, if you go all back to the Greek myth in this book, you're going to find out that in the beginning, some of the substance was also water. I just mentioned that. Now, there was an X-File that came on about a couple months ago where it was raining during the whole X-File, and then the damn water came alive, and the fucking water was a damn entity. And tried to kill that damn whole ass. He buried it out of the way. That's what he's talking about. And you mix that with the black inside, and you got it. So now, MSG and dehydration is the number one shit. So I even got to give up the beer now. Because that dehydration. So I might pop a cold one. Maybe once a week instead of every damn night. Or every fucking morning. You see what I'm saying? So moderation is the key. But don't let something be everyday part of your diet. You don't have to give shit up. You just, moderation is the key. But make sure you just drink a lot of water when you do it. That's another key. When you do it, make sure you have enough water with it. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure you have enough water with it. Now, let me get to this particular last little piece right here. Y'all bear with me 1 minute. Let me get to this last little piece right here. Okay. All right. And then we're going to go into a question and answer. All right. Let's deal with this thing. Okay. Hold on 1 minute. Let me get this thing right. Y'all all right? Okay. Let me see here. Okay. I'm going to get right to the point. Well, I go ahead and start explaining this thing. When I was in Detroit, this sister that's real good friends with Richard King, she came out, she took me to dinner. And she works in the hospital. And she was saying that the day they're studying the black DNA. And every day there's new amino acids popping up on the black DNA each day. Now, if you understand the Orion Nebula that's out in space, they're saying that there's tons of stars and planets and stuff that's being born each day in this Orion Nebula. Okay? Now, the secret here is that ain't shit but a hologram. It's only a reflection of some shit that's going on the inside of you. But when you deal with it in medical terms, it is these amino acids popping up on the DNA that's inside of you. Get where I'm coming from here? That's on the inside of you. Now, when you look at this particular part, this has something to do with the extraterrestrial invasion. Go back and look at the movie X-Files movie. It was a substance that was around before the dinosaurs that will replace man using man as the host. But yet they were talking about extraterrestrial invasion. Okay? Now, let me explain some stuff. All right. Let me deal with a couple of things right now. The extraterrestrial nations that we are talking about can be seen, I talked about this the last time, in the Goetia. Now the Goetia is the greater key, the lesser key of Solomon's text that was found in ancient, was found over in Europe. But basically the Moors brought these texts up into Spain. So anytime you get some stuff, Alistair Crowley and Gregor Manus have out Alistair Crowley's Goetia for $16. But they're thinking it's magic, so it ain't really about magic. It's about the extraterrestrial universe inside of you. We're talking about the inner universe. Okay? The inner universe. Let me start reading. The extraterrestrial nation. The extraterrestrial nation is the nation of the Goetia, or the galactic or intergalactic federation does not exist in outer space. The petty universe, that's called the petty universe or the holographic universe. But in the inner space of the human body, of what is left behind, the original Goetia of the original great old ones of the black race. So to kill those black people, in some way the government is trying to stop an extraterrestrial invasion. Now this is the key. Or are there really? There is never any such thing as space or outer space is a hologram perceived only to be real by the human brain. This brain is the matrix, and that is what the movie is talking about, the human brain. The brain is the enemy to the original God. Remember I said that these gods, these people came up and they put the elder sign on, which was his brain, and when they woke up, they started thinking that the shit that the brain was casting off was real. And it's only a series of illusions or whatever and stuff making you think it's real, or a series of events that never existed. Okay? So if there is no outer space, then space has to be inner space. Then the extraterrestrial realm has to be in the subconscious mind, the inner world called the dark side. That's why they gotta get you to turn from the damn dark side, which is the inner self. You see? So, to try to stop the dark side is to try to start an alien invasion. Because it's invading from the inner space. Okay? Now, it doesn't make sense to think that someone outside is coming to save yourself. The black men that we're They are called the Greys, which the UFO groups are calling the reptilians. The Draconians, which is a new word for the Draconians or the Typhonians, which is the snake people of the Uraeus serpent people, which means the third eye. That's why you see the Egyptians with the serpent on their head. Those are the damn reptilians. You see what I'm saying? So this invasion of the reptilian is in actuality the rising of the Kundalini serpent power invading the body. The fleet of ships are the chakra wheels of light are seen in the Goetia. Now I told you that there was in the third eye of a region of God, which is the third eye in the Kabbalah. It's called dogma. Data. I told you before that there were 72 chakras. I told you there were 72 chakras in the third eye. And these 72 chakras sit over legions of 30 to 40 each, but legions is translated in the dictionary as 10,000. So we're literally talking about 2 or 3 million extraterrestrials inside of you in these particular chakras or these particular seals that you see in the Goetia, which is coming out of the third eye called the Sekh-MAAT, or in the book of Enoch called the Watchers, or called the evil eye. You see, or called the evil eye. You see, so when you see planets from outer space, they look lifeless and barren. This is because the holographic pattern is set in our brains, not to perceive anything. But the real frequency of the inner planes, there are the planes of teeming life forms, and they, I say, are the life forms in the secrets of the Goetia, which is the chakras in the actual particular brain or access to the third eye. You can see those particular little balls when you get to moving photographic areas. You see what I'm saying? In the book of Enoch, the watchers sound remarkably like extraterrestrials of the esoteric. In esoteric science, the watchers are the third eye, watching from the inside, the dark side. In the book of Enoch, were also known as Abrazel or Satan. Now go and get the book, get 2 books, get David Icke's book, and The Truth Shall Set You Free. And read the first 2 chapters in that book, or the first chapter. And it deals with a lot of the shit I'm talking about. But he don't understand that it's in him. He working for him also. And get his book, The Biggest Secret. That's his new book. The Biggest Secret. David Icke. The fourth dimensional manipulation of this particular created, or what they call the supreme being, they also are called the demiurge in Gnostic scripture. That's these particular entities up here. They call the archons, the demiurge, or they're also called Yadalibra. Basically, any male created entity, you could call it the father. They created world religions to control the human mind. As they start to control this dimension, what better way to control people to shut down their minds and to divide and rule over them to create a series of dogmatic religions and special effects, based on special effects. Look at all the pain and the misery that these particular religions have brought upon and ignorance that it has visited our planet in Christianity, Judaism, and all the rest of those particular religions. So the outer space is a backdrop and a screen, is a reflection of the inner space and the origin of that nebula that is giving birth to millions of stars. So when you see this Orion nebula out here, it's giving birth to millions of stars. All that shit is going on inside your body. So what the government is doing is they got all this UFO phenomenon in the physical to keep you looking from the outside, when in actuality this shit is going on the inside. And the extraterrestrial invasion is invading this particular body and destroying this particular physical world from the inside out. You see what I'm saying? From the inside out. In the inner space, the Orion Nebula is the DNA that are hundreds of amino acids forming daily. Starting daily on the black DNA. It's the same new world that is shown in the outer space that are depicted also in the Goetian these seals in this book I was telling you about, which is these particular seals of millions of spawns, aliens, and melanin clusters. So in so many words, all this stuff that they're talking about, if you direct it on the inside, you got it. That's the extraterrestrial invasion. But the government is moving, and they got the X-Files to seem like to tell you it's out. But in so many words, they tell you it's in them, because they even said it in the movie at the beginning of the movie, but they're always bringing back to the outer ship. You thinking of a spaceship coming, and the spaceship is inside of you. The real deal mothership. You see what I'm saying? It's inside of you. You see. So now, in the Lion Path, you can get a hold of this book by Charles Mosey. It's on page 138. Then we're going to go into a question and answer. On page 138, it is almost obvious that at this point that the future human evolution lies not in the molecular body per se, which is reached its optimal development already, but in the brain, in which there is a huge redundancy of appearing unusual neural net tracks. Just as there is a huge amount of evidently unused DNA in the human cellular nuclei, the DNA contains the yet unactivated genomes for the development of the brain unused neurons. And the bottom line is that we have a vast resource of untapped enormous evolutionary potential. In the computer terms, it is though we are all a powerful CPU, central processing unit, but have not even begun to tap into it or even become aware of the spot on the surface. So in actuality, they are literally telling you that all of this particular stuff that you have tapped into, but basically we're carrying with us. And the white boy, the shit that he can't tap into, he calls junk DNA. That's what this shit is, and that's what these particular amino acids. So in some kind of way, he's trying to deal with an artificial intelligence, which is the cosmic reference of the internet, which is nothing but the process in the same type of way that the shit is on the inside of you process. You see what I'm saying? And that's what this particular stuff that's actually talking about. So as we go, let's go into a question and answer right now. Let's go into a question and answer right now to get the ball rolling. What's that? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I always say questions and answers. There was a book put out by Hemmitt called Eschatology, and the book put out in 1990, and the book went out of print. And now the book is a paperback book, this thick, but the shit is almost $150. A book that costs like $29. So anyway, it's talking about these Sufi teachers, and in there based on some Sufi documents from this ancient Sufi teacher that lived about 1,000 years ago. And this guy is translating. Hemmitt is a great guy in the Sufi thing. He's translating. And in so many words in some of the documents it was talking about this. These particular cells here, the seals that I showed you, are called demons of Goetia, or Damians. Now they say that the ultimate Agogamian is the original word. It comes from the word Damian comes from the word Amen, and the word Amen comes from the word Amen. Amen, Amen, Damon, later on Demon, which means hidden substance. It's called the genius, hidden genius. Then you get the word genius, you get the word gene, then you get the word jinn. So the demons, these are called the demons of Goetia. These are the cells of those amino acids. So in so many words, in these particular texts, they say when you hate, you unleash these demons. You see what I'm saying? Now let me show you what I'm talking about. You can get a regular, we got people right now that's in prison. There's regular people that one day some shit happened and they got mad enough and they killed up everybody. But right now they in prison and you ask them, I don't know how this shit happened. I just did it. That means we're talking about another entity that got control of the body. It's just that if it gets control of the body when the cycle is young, and you got to live on this earth, then you might do some shit because it's premature the time you're supposed to do it. But if it gets control of the body now, when it's supposed to be the cycle of destruction to tear this shit up, that's what you're looking for. Don't worry about it. It's going to come on around anyway and devour your ass and the world. That's the shit I'm talking about. And that needs to be your ass. So in so many words, the Kabbalah talks about these see the dark side, the tree of the Kabbalah. That's only a reflection, those spheres, and not the 10 self-rods. Those spheres are reflecting something from the backside of the tree called the Kalipah, or the Ganea, the dark regions. And it's Kalipah runs these particular demons. But they say when you tap into that particular part, the way you got to tap into that is through hate. So in so many words, it's not the type of hate that you do consciously, because that would make it physical. It's the kind of hate that you just can't, you just got to let your feelings go. Take the answer. Go get the movie. Good movie to explain that shit is the movie The Devil's Addict. Whenever he found his daddy with the devil, he shot up the place and the devil said, the daddy said, yeah! He said, you gotta hang on to that fire. You can't let that go. That same fire is the Kundalini energy. That's what the shit is. And those Kundalini energies, when that fire shoots up and hits that main pineal gland, it ignites these aliens, or Boasians, or aliens, which means hidden gods, or hidden substance. And that's what we're talking about. It's only harmful in relation to the physical matrix. But when your ass is trying to break out the matrix, it's the damn TNT you need to fuck this bitch up. But you don't have to consciously do it, because it's going to happen any damn way. These shit's going to tap in anyway. First you had to tap into them. But as time goes on, it's just like any flower that blooms is giving birth any damn way. You see what I'm saying? So hate is good. Evil is good. Like you said, evil is good. On the movie. But I got scientific shit to break this shit up. Now why is this now? Well, originally I said, basically, don't take my word for this for study stuff. But since I got so many videos out, the reason why I say that you can bet on me is for the simple fact is one reason. First of all, I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm not asking no more for the money or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make here is, you see, with me, I didn't get into it for fun. I had my career in some other town recently. You see what I'm saying? And I was getting rich by it. So the mere fact that I got into this particular thing, I'm never satisfied with what I get. So if I get into this shit and I love what I see, if I wake up the next morning, I know there's still work to be done. So basically, you can bank on what I'm saying and all this type of thing, because I'm not jacking off this for medicine, awesome knowledge or whatever type thing. I'm trying to produce results. So now, if you make up your mind that you're trying to get you into this shit, then that means you are willing to tap into the shit that society has told you not to. So that's when you find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow by looking in the damn evil shit of the dark side. And that is the damn mystery to this shit. So you let your feelings go, but you have got years and years of moral dogma in you, telling you to be goddamn good. And that's a hard thing to shit. Even in the back of your mind right now, you're going, see, I hope this motherfucker is right. But this nigga, if it ain't right, this is some fucked up crazy shit this nigga talking about here. That's because you've been programmed that way. You see what I'm saying? That's because you've been programmed that way. But then again, on the other hand, this is the beautiful part about this. You are actually fortunate enough to go to a lecture that a nigga talk about some shit that you ain't gonna never hear no place. You see what I'm saying? That's the part about it. Ain't nobody gonna be telling you like demon shit. You see what I'm saying? At least they didn't expect a black man to tell you about this shit. You see what I'm saying? So what we're talking about, if you take it off of the human form, we're just talking about energies. But you are attributed to morality and the human shit, and they got nothing to do with that because the human shit is the matrix, and the matrix doesn't exist. Remember, he said the matrix is not real? But the other people talk about, I don't want to know nothing. You want to get back into the matrix. But the woman can't tell you the matrix is not real. No, I think the matrix is real. That's just like the niggas you know how to damn show your damn people. Give them some damn dollar. No, I just want to worship the Lord. You need to kill him. You need to kill him. Oh, shit. You see? So basically, this is the science we're talking about. We're not really even talking about doggone. Even as the physical, we're talking about random forces that now, which is the only forces there is to take care of the damn job. It's about like when all things fail, you go get that motherfucking sawed-off shotgun. Because negotiation time is over. You shoot some pockets of lead and a motherfucking ass. See what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. This is the reserve turbo booster shit. Time out the bullshit. Be sick and tired of being sick and tired. So give me some questions. Plus also, too, this is actually the Messiah school. We're training ourselves to be the gods that we're supposed to be. But the God that is slated to come back is not coming back with no leaders in the hand. Hugging and kissing nobody. With no revival. We coming back to put heads off. So you got to get to that type of energy. Just like the Bible says, the sky open, and he that sat on the horse had a robe dripping with blood. And the other motherfuckers with them, they had on righteousness, represents their aura, and they were dripping with blood too. That's your ass. So goddamn it, if you're coming back to fight, you don't need to be coming back with a bunch of kazoos in your hand. You better be coming back with some goddamn TNT. You see what I'm saying? Because time is out. You see what I'm saying? And we got to kill the God, and that'll take care of the illusion. But these demons gonna take care of that shit too. Because those particular gods are only a part of this whole interface of what you call the matrix. So give me some questions. Go ahead. Yeah.
I got two questions. You said that we have two brains. That the universe is in the element in your brain, and if you travel down here in a false universe.
Right.
And does that mean that once we're trying to reach to the higher dimensions and realms of our high theology, that element is going to help us tap into our right dimension, so we can break out and break.
But no, the melanin is actually the danionic substance. It ain't gonna help you tap into nothing because you're not gonna tap into it physically. It's gonna destroy your body. It's a virus. And it's gonna destroy your body. It's gonna take you to that death realm. But remember, go with it because that's the party. You see what I'm saying? You see, if you just basically break out of this bullshit, just understand that somebody's going to take you to an alternative world where you ain't got to work, you ain't got to shoot, you ain't got to eat. Just think, like I said, like I told you before here, you might say, well, I just want to have a motherfucking nut or an orgasm, if you want to put it, for 1,000 years.
Tonight.
Shit, I want to get down to that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Or whatever you think, or whatever you want to do, because you're the God to do it and you are unrestricted. That's what we're talking about here. So the energy is going to do that. It is already happening within you. It's coming online in the DNA. You see what I'm saying?
And my second question is, you said, when you said, in 147 negative confession, our soul is not expected to obey those laws that you were innocent in the computer state.
Yeah.
It was not for the.
It is not you. It's not you physically saying, I have not done this, I have not done that. In the physical body, it's humanly impossible not to do those things because the physical body, you got to do those things just to survive. It's your soul has not done those things. So your soul has not done this or has not done that. You see what I'm saying? So that's what this particular thing is talking about. It has nothing to do with you not doing it. You see, it's just that the people who taught us those particular things recently, the people who taught us those particular things recently and all, and unfortunately, most of the people that was in the